individuals. It was placed in the policy as a way to be able to hire some maybe part-timers and give them some benefits to encourage people to come work for us.
So are we avoiding the negative publicity now?
No.
So that part-time, you said 30 to 34?
Yes, for the second level.
That was a misprint.
Yes.
You might consider on the top column, the top one, 24 to 29, that's 3 8-hour days. I mean, it creates an issue for somebody working 3 8-hour days that would like to qualify for the 50%. They're shy an hour, who's going to say, well, they come and work 4 more hours. So you might consider that.
Yeah, I was thinking the 20 hours is sort of like a half a week, 2.5 days, so that's kind of how I thought it. What's that?
You'd be okay with 20.
Yeah, I'd be okay with 20.
And that's kind of what's on the table for you. Do you want to stick with the old, or do you want to go with the new?
I like the 24.
I like the 24. 24. You like 24?
So, I mean, I'll go with 24 because I agree with Mayor Sessom, but I do think it's better than 25. So that means that the part-time would be 24 to 29, and we've corrected the part-time 30 to 34, is that right?
And it would be 50% of the employee coverage paid by the town for the first level, 75 for the second, and 100% for the third.
It's nice.
Okay.
So we've changed 25 to 24 for
Yes.
classification and in the 3 levels of coverage.
Yes. Okay. And down at the bottom, that was just clarification, employment is terminated or employment agreement is not renewed, which is pretty much the same as employment is terminated, but just for clarification purposes. Then under the retirement plan, it's regular employees working a minimum of 1,000. And I took out the weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, depending on the employee's pay schedule. Right now, it just says from their paycheck. There's no reason to stipulate other, and then I tried to do that throughout the policy in case because I know a lot of people aren't happy about getting paid once a month. So that may change in the future, and I tried to take that reference out, and I think there was that monthly, and I just, that monthly, you may just change it to timesheet, where it says monthly timesheet, you may just change it to timesheet, that way we don't have to redo a whole policy or a whole approval for a policy to make a change like that. So we tried to do that throughout. The next thing with the treasurer, of course, changed the location of the website address there. The medical center for not sure why we have a approved medical practice. I'm not sure when that came about, but maybe because it's close. Maybe at that point it was the closest urgent care, I'm not sure, but the name changed. I left it in here. I don't know if that really matters. Okay, holidays. The main changes here are, before it was the entire week of Christmas off. Some suggestions have been to change it back to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then New Year's Eve was a suggested addition.
Excuse me.
Anybody have any thoughts and suggestions there? And just to let you know, the reason for the change was because the town hall wouldn't be staffed for an entire week with anybody. And you're not open for your citizens if you do need something. A lot of times it's good to stagger if you have enough employees and you can stagger them for different days off in terms of vacation and so forth.
I think in the email where I had the notes about this, it mentioned these holidays being following the state holidays.
Yeah.
And so is that what we're doing for the Christmas stuff too? We're following the states?
So, the state holidays, you're gonna have more holidays than you're giving here. Because of course, if you think about federal holidays, they're gonna follow a lot of the federal that you're not giving. So you're not following the state schedule completely, because otherwise you'd be giving more holidays. In terms of the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I think the suggestion was to follow the state on what days they give off.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm talking about, what I saw. Okay.
Yeah. And we could put in there just to follow the state, or we could leave it the way it is here. And the way it is here, it pretty much is doing what most employees want in terms of when the days fall. If Christmas falls on a Sunday, people usually want Friday and Monday off, and that might not necessarily be what the state does. So we could either leave it here or just go strictly what the state does. And I'm not sure, I think the state would be 2 days, wouldn't it? Okay.
This is 2 days still, right? Christmas Eve, Christmas
This is
Day.
2 days, yes. And then it was suggested that we add New Year's Eve.
I like it.
I like that.
Everybody okay with that? Everybody okay with when the days fall? Leaving it that way, or would you want to just go? Okay.
That section just down below, it talks about 25, should that be 24 now?
Yes, that will change to 24. Okay, going further. Okay, vacation leave accumulation on page 25. Currently, up to 5 years, they get 12 days, which is an even 1 day per month. 6 to 10 is 15, 11 to 15 years is 18, and 16 plus is 21. Suggested change was to go to 15 days, 18, 21, and 24, to align more with, I think that aligns more with private industry. Your new town manager was thinking even less than we have currently. He was thinking 2 weeks, so 10 days. So you've got 10 being proposed, currently we have 12, and you've got 15 being proposed. So it's kind of whichever way you want to go. Everybody's kind of all over the board there with what they're recommending.
I had a lengthy conversation with Mr. Rollins on that topic. Because he was suggesting shorter than what we have
10
today.
days, yes.
And I shared what the state was offering for brand new employees, and it's 14 days for vacation. So with that new information that he became aware of, on top of, if you go through what you already provided to us earlier on, there's some reductions of time that he was okay with us going in this direction.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Does everybody agree with what Mr. Clay said?
Yes.
Okay. That's
So the
what-
vacation is 15 days, after that, at the end of the year, it's forfeited.
It may accumulate to 15 days, yes.
And then at the
And
end
then
of the year,
it's forfeited. Now, just so you know, most governmental agencies, that's another thing, where most let you roll it into sick because they know that you can use that sick towards a retirement. And that way you're not losing it. Financially, that helps you because you're not paying it out. But of course, forfeiture helps you too, because you're not paying it out. So you can either do the rollover, which is pretty standard for most governments, or you can do the forfeiture. One thing that is always encouraged is that people actually take a week off.
Right.
Because in industry and internal control purposes, the auditors always like to see an employee gone for a week and somebody doing their job for that week, because that's usually when you catch fraud. And so that is a common practice that they encourage all companies, whether private or government, to do, is make sure that your employees always take at least one full week off a year.
Floyd and I were talking about employee staff burnout, and it encourages them
Yes.
to take the time off.
Definitely. Mental health, yes.
And of course, anywhere where there's, because of course this section here on 25, I'm not sure if it's on 26 too or not, has the 25 hours and more. Do we have to point that out every time, or can we just say that going forward anywhere where it's 25
That's
hours?
That's good.
All references to part-time employees.
Change change 25.
Change to 24.
Yes.
25, got it.
So I think I heard you want to go to the new days earned of 15, 18, is that what I'm hearing? Okay. And how do you feel about accumulation and rolling into sick? Do you want to cap the maximum at year end? Do you want to roll it over? Do you want to forfeit? What are your thoughts?
I'm okay with the forward and encourage them to use it.
Everybody? And that 15 days max is good?
That's what they would accumulate in one year.
Do you have an issue with everybody taking, if they have to take it or lose it, everybody taking it at the end of the year? Is there a way to deal with that?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That would be a matter of your manager taking charge during the year and not allowing people to accumulate it all to the end of the year. And also, they have to get their vacation approved in advance, and if they wait till the last minute and everyone wants to take off, so. And in a small office, usually we try to coordinate that early in the year.
Jeff, you're saying basically you have to use it all, there's no rollover?
If that's, wasn't that what's proposed?
Yeah, he's saying
Oh,
unless
I see.
everyone saves it to the last week of the year, and then basically town hall shuts down because every employee is using their last week.
But if you're using it all at the end of the year, you start your brand new year with zero balance.
Right.
That makes sense.
As a town hall, though, you have to deal with all the employees trying to leave on the same time.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have that whether it's a forfeiture or not. You know, if they're gonna be a forfeiture completely, everybody's gonna try and take it at the end if they have any left. And if it's even a forfeiture of a portion, they're gonna do the same too, so they're not gonna want to lose any. So you kind of have that both ways.
Could we have a forfeiture of a little bit more than 15 days, so you could carry a little bit over?
It's whatever you want to do.
Why?
Well, if I was a town employee and I use that, what is it?
Well, if
Never
you,
mind, never mind. I can roll over 15 days.
Yeah.
I'm reading it wrong. Forget it.
Yeah.
Forget everything I just said.
Yeah, because right now you have it at 15, which is for anybody who's there less than 5 years, that's their entire amount they've earned. So 15 is
Yeah.
quite generous
I like that.
based on how many they're earning,
I like that.
because that's almost a whole year. Okay. 26. It was suggested that we remove the section where an employee may be paid for accumulated or unused vacation leave while still in employment. With the forfeiture, that there's no need to have that. So that it just eliminates that issue, and then everybody's just expected to take their vacation or lose it if they don't take it. Or don't take enough of it, I should say. And then once the employee resigns, it says that they would be eligible to be paid for their vacation leave. This says with a 2-week notice, but it was suggested that that be taken out because they're not accumulating huge amounts and they've earned it, so let them have it in pay.
Yeah.
And disregard the 2-week notice. So no matter what, when they leave, they get their vacation. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Now, this is where it's, if a probationary employee is terminated, payment will not be made for accumulated vacation leave. Just keep in mind that probationary has now changed to 6 months. So this is saying if they're there 6 months, and at that point, 7.5 days they've earned or something, you're saying they can't get paid for that. So are you still okay with that? Because before it was just 3 months, now you're saying 6 months. And that, that may be the case.
So that was removed, probation employees
Yes.
terminated.
Well, that's right, that was removed. The way it is now is,
They wouldn't get it.
they wouldn't get it, but we've taken that out now.
So now if
it's
they
already
work 6 months, or 5 months and 2 weeks, they would still get their vacation.
They left in a week, well, in a month, say, they've earned some, they get it. Or you leave it the way it currently is, where they don't get it until the 6 month, unless they've been there 6 months. So if somebody's there a month and leaves, are you gonna pay them their accumulated vacation? Do you care?
I don't think they should. If they earned it, they should do it.
Okay, all right. This was just a clarification at the bottom of 26 and into 27. It was just saying 3 months and an additional 3 for a total of 6. So it was just trying to clarify. And this says, under extenuating circumstances, an employee may be advanced sick leave. That was in the policy, and it was suggested that that be taken out. We do pay for short-term disability for them.
When did short-term disability kick in? Do you recall?
There's that memo at the back of your section. Well, actually, it's the front of that section. So 11B, turn from the agenda sheet, the first page, it goes into short-term disability provides 60% of the basic salary on the 8th day of disability due to an accident or sickness for a maximum period of 26 weeks. For the 8th day.
So the employee would use their sick time and then short-term would kick in at 8th day?
Yes. At 60% on the 8th day due to accident or sickness. Okay? So we're okay there? All right. And that would be, it's required to be provided. And that's just if they're out extending 3 or more days, that the town manager may require a doctor's statement. And it must be provided within 3 business days. Failure of an employee to provide requested proof shall constitute a reason for non-payment of the days taken. That has been taken out. But it does, it's covered elsewhere if they're violating the rules and everything, and grounds for termination and so forth. But the whole part about failure of an employee to provide requested proof, this is saying that they have leave, then they get paid. But once again, that could be a disciplinary action taken by the manager at that time. Okay, page 28. Once again, a clarification of the 3 plus an additional 3 for a maximum of 6. And this is, once again, taking out the approved vacation leave in advance of earning it. So this is saying they can take what they've earned only. Everybody okay with that? All right. 29. The workers' comp was stated elsewhere in the policy, so it was the exact same wording, so I just took it out because it didn't need to be in there twice. That's what all that is. Civil leave, the new manager had suggested up to 2 hours time off for civil leave instead of an open-ended. So that would be safer voting or something. Okay, on page 30. This was just removing petty leave. They have plenty of leave in here, plenty of vacation. There's no need to have all these little miscellaneous leaves and to have to track them separately. That's a nightmare to do that. This is just saying for the adverse weather conditions, regular, full, and part-time. There's clarification there. This is taking out, once again, personal time off, taking out all those little miscellaneous leaves and having to track all these little miscellaneous leaves. You've got sick, you've got vacation,
And we bumped up the vacation.
yeah.
So would jury duty be under administrative, because I don't see jury duty.
It was in there, where did I see that?
Under the civil leave, the second paragraph.
Yep,
No.
all right, and now, once again, on 31, I took out monthly salaries and just payroll amounts, trying to catch all those. Page 32, vacation leave, and it says annual leave, just for clarification. Page 32 is removing the longevity. The explanation was that performance, raises should be based on performance, and just because you're here, you shouldn't get a guaranteed raise because of the length of service. Instead, your raises should be based on your performance, and they're all performance-based. So that there's no guaranteed, and it's all performance-based. And that's pretty much the suggested reasoning for removing the longevity.
Otherwise, it was happening that they got performance and longevity together, both.
Yes,
So this is, yeah.
yes.
Could you explain it to me, what you just said?
Okay, so if they were here 5 years, they got a 2% increase in salary automatically. If they were here 10 years, they got a 3% increase in
Well,
salary.
hang tight, but what she said though, so they would get so you would get a 2% increase, but then you would also get a separate performance-based.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
so you were getting 2 raises the year that you hit 5, 10, 15. And this just takes that second raise out of the equation, and everybody just gets their annual performance raise.
Yeah.
Anybody have any suggestions or recommendations there? Okay.
EMTs that don't get paid.
Page 34, that was just clarification, with that municipality, it's us, we don't need to say with that municipality, that was just redundant. The disclosure of records, I didn't see this information must be retained for 2 years, and I know it's in the personnel files, so this just stays there.
Indefinite.
Yeah, so if somebody requested it, it just has a list of who requested and why, and it just stays there. Because we weren't taking it out anyway, so why have it in the policy if you're not doing it anyway? One's just clarification. Wording 34, get to the end. And page 35 was just changing the wording based on the general statutes. So that wording comes straight from the general statutes.
So hold on, so on 34, just to back up for a second. For the records, so it was only required that they kept information for 2 years, right?
That is, there's a written record of who requested the information. And it says that the information of who requested it must be retained for 2 years. So this is just taking out the must be retained for 2 years because those things were in the files anyway.
Okay.
So it's just saying they're in there. And it stops you from having to dispose of them.
I always think it kind of stuff the opposite way, it stops you from having to maintain them, so, you know, having to keep records for some amount of time puts a responsibility on you if you have to, right? So if your own policies and procedures say, you know, this is something you have to maintain. Well, then all of a sudden it says you only have to maintain this for so long, that means something happens to it, or over time, you can get rid of it if you need to, for whatever reason. But I guess now with digital, it's not like it's gonna take up a lot of space if we needed to, but.
And that information was in the personnel files, and nobody's going in and taking it out. And so pretty much, as long as you have to keep a personnel file, you should probably keep that information as well.
Yeah, I'm good with that, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. You're welcome to leave it in, and, because it's a public,
Personnel files.
yeah, but you're required still to keep the personnel files, even if though it's not public, for the public to see, all our records must be maintained and kept. So it's, by saying this information must be retained for 2 years,
Does it, okay,
does it really,
so might as well take it, I get you.
yeah, do you really need to state that?
If I could go back to just real quick, that first page, July 1st, 2024.
Yes, that was the next
Okay.
discussion.
Okay, never mind, go ahead.
Okay. So-
Where are we going, I'm sorry?
The very beginning of this tab.
Yeah, page 37, Mr. Hoffman just reminded me that that is the same wording that changed in the policy. It is changed on there as well in terms of being compliant with the wording of the Equal Employment Act.
Oh, sorry.
That was the last thing.
I forgot my fault, I jumped you over to something else.
So I think everybody, we've got a consensus on this, so if you're good with this, we can vote on it, but you might want to hold the vote until we discuss the next page in case it changes anything for you. Okay. So the next page is a summary of the benefits that are provided to all regular full-time employees, and then there's the stipulation about the hours for the part-timers. But wanted to list everything here so that we know what we can offer the employees and what we're going to do payroll-wise once they get here. So everybody knows that we're part of the state retirement system, and participation is mandatory and begins, and now, they changed this a couple of years ago, it's first day of employment. So there's no waiting period any longer. First day, 6% comes out of the check. The town must provide 13.6% to the retirement system. So that's our portion, is 13.6%. Been going up every year, it's quite hefty now. 401k, dollar for dollar match up to 3% of salary. So if they put in 2%, we put in 2. If they put in 1, we put in 1.
Is there a cap?
Up to 3%. 3% is the cap,
3, okay.
up to 3%. That's, and
So
you're,
if they put in 5, we still put in 3.
yes, dollar for dollar, up to 3%. And after that, it's just what, they can put in 20%, but you're still only matching the 3%.
There's no dollar for dollar, 5,000 cap, 10,000 cap, it's just,
There are the federal caps of what they can put in, but we do the 3% of salary. Holidays, you already discussed that, so we'll change this based on the new holidays. Sick leave, I don't think we changed that when we're going through. 1.25 as proposed, up to a maximum of 2 as proposed is what you went with. Medical insurance is currently provided through Blue Cross Blue Shield at no cost to the employee, and it's age-based rates ranging from $300 to $1,000. If you look at average, it's like an $800 average, about like $700, $800, depending on the age of your employees. You know, we have in the policy that it's an 18-year-old minimum, and that's where an 18-year-old would be $320. Over, say, 64 or something is $1,052. So most of your employees are going to fall into the 600 to 800 range.
paid by the town.
Paid by, 100% paid by the town. So just think about if you're wanting to continue that, and we'll go through the rest of them, and then you can make your decisions. There was a memo dated October 12th of 2012, and the policy at that time was $300 currently towards dependent and/or spousal insurance coverage is paid by the town, or zero as proposed. Based on discussions with council members when I was putting all this together, it was proposed that that go to zero. And just to let you know, some were also not in favor of the town paying 100% of the employees. Some wanted the town to pay a percentage. So that's up for discussion among you. So currently, it's 100% employee and 300 towards spouse and dependents. That's current. Recommended is anywhere from 100% or a portion of the individual and zero for spouse and dependents. And this just gave you a little information. The medical insurance has an in-network deductible of $2,500 and out-of-pocket of $8,000. 0% and no deductible for preventive care, 30% out deductible for other care. Currently, there is a health savings account contribution provided by the town at a cost of $333.34 per month. So the town is providing that contribution to the employee's HSA. The IRS limit for 2024 is $4,150. I'm assuming that amount that they came up with, that $333.34, was probably based on prior limits, prior annual limits.
So they don't have to, it doesn't come out of their paycheck? We just give them HSA every month?
Yes.
No, what, you don't agree? Tim, you were shaking your head no.
HSA comes out of people's pay, doesn't it?
No, the town was paying this into the HSA for the employees.
As a benefit?
Yes, as a benefit.
It must be a municipality or state thing.
Well, it's a matter of usually a high deductible plan. You'll have HSAs, and usually you'll fund part of it for them because you're getting a lower cost of the medical insurance, and you'll fund part of the HSA to make up for the fact that they're having to pay higher deductible and higher medical insurance costs. This is not, I wouldn't consider this, compared to my deductible, I wouldn't consider $2,500 a high deductible, but I think it's considered probably maybe a high deductible plan, the terminology, a high deductible plan, because of that 30%.
But the employee is not paying for the healthcare and coverage.
No,
So the HSA is going to be deductible, or other HSAs.
yeah, pretty much the HSA is covering their entire deductible and then some.
You want this, I know, I want this plan. Okay.
Yeah, it's very generous.
So right now, the HSA is provided by the town, $333 per month.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
are you asking, do you want to make it where the person contributes it from their pay, or the town continues to pay, or? what
Well,
is-
that's up to you, but when all of you were giving me all your suggestions, some said that, yes, the town should pay 100% of the employee at premium medical. Some said the town should only pay a portion of the, say 75%, I'm just throwing a number out there, a portion of the individual's premium. Now, what I've seen, this is my personal thought, and so, take it for what it's worth.
That's $4,000 HSA
Yes.
given.
Yes.
So when you see someone's salary from the past, you would add this on to it, right?
Yes. Yeah, if you wanted to look at their salary plus benefits as their total package, yes. But the way I see it with employees, if you're going to cover anything, you should cover your employees first at 100% before you cover any dependents or spouse, because it's not really fair to cover partial dependent and spouse, and then the individual employee that doesn't have a family, they're having to supplement the fact that you're providing that for somebody else. So I prefer to see 100% of the employee covered before you start paying anything towards your dependents or family. That's my own personal thing. I think that's only fair to your employees. So So yeah, they had a $2,500 deductible, but as you stated, the $4,000, so we were paying their entire deductible and then another, say $1,500 of their,
So 2,500 is the deductible?
for the individual.
Family was 8,000.
8,000, yeah.
No, the out-of-pocket is limited as 8,000. I didn't give you the family because we weren't covering the family, so I was just giving you the individual so that you can make your decisions based on that.
So the deductible still be 2,500 out of one, okay, 8,000.
That's your out-of-pocket limit. So the most that they would be out of pocket in a year would be $8,050 as an individual.
And you were talking earlier about, you were trying to make things at one point attractive to make sure that folks came here.
Oh, that's definitely attractive.
Yeah, so it's attractive.
I'm just throwing this out here, what about matching the 2,500, which would be $208 a month?
For what, the HSA?
Yeah.
I don't think we should pay the HSA.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Yeah, I think we pay 100% of the insurance and they pay the HSA. Oh, sorry. This too.
just trying to make me talk. Mr. Donovan, I apologize. Wait, did you say something?
And some places do differing amounts. Some do $50 a paycheck to HSA, some do hundreds, so it differs.
If they don't spend their HSA, then it's just lost? We put that money in and they didn't spend it?
The HSA carries over, so if, say, this year you don't have medical expenses to get reimbursed for your HSA, then say next year you have like double what you had this
Right.
year. You
And
can-
then what happens if you leave the job?
You take that with you, you
You
roll
take
it,
it, goes with you.
yeah, it goes with you, roll it into it.
Your $4,000 every year, it goes with you.
Because you can, your local investment companies or your local banks, you can move it into one of their accounts and still use it as an HSA for medical bills. And for some people, it's an investment. They use it as a retirement investment, because you're putting in pre-tax money. And so that's considered, when you're elderly and you're gonna be spending more, usually spending more on medical, then there you go, you got that money available to you. So a lot of people use that as an investment for retirement.
If there's no town contributions to the HSA, we would still offer an HSA so they can put money into it, right?
Yes. I don't, I'd have to check and make sure what their requirements are, because a lot of times if nobody's participating, they'll get rid of a plan, so I just have to check and see what they would do.
But if we had a minor contribution, it would continue.
Yeah. And while you're rolling that around, I'll continue. Vision is $7 a month, it's nominal. Dental with orthodontia is $29 per month. Short-term disability is $14 per month. So those are nominal amounts.
And no cost to the employee?
No cost to the employee
All that?
on all that. Dental insurance covers 100% of diagnostic and preventive, 80% of basic, 50% of major, and 50% of orthodontic through age 25. Short-term disability we discussed earlier. Life insurance benefits at 2 times annual salary is provided at no cost to the employee as well. So based on whatever you decide with this, you can approve it all and your package is ready when your new employees come on board, or whatever you decide to do.
I think they can pay for their HSA and they can pay if they want to add vision or dental. Well, I like dental coverage. But do we need to pay vision for everybody? If they don't?
Can that be an à la carte thing? That's how it is with the school system.
With the vision, it's really recommended that you have an eye exam every year. Just like a general health exam, it's recommended that you do, because with glaucoma and even other illnesses, it's important to get your eyes checked because there could be something wrong medically, a medical condition that's affecting your eyesight. And if you don't get it checked, then you could do irreparable harm to your eyesight. So that, the $7 is pretty much covering your exam, and then it's covering a portion of other classes and so forth. And, you know, for $7 a month, you're not talking much money. You might as well provide that. And the dental, you can do dental with orthodontia or without. There is a without orthodontia plan.
Sounds like the thing that folks are most interested in is the HSA, right? So just out of curiosity, like with the thumbs up going across here, who wants to take the HSA away and make that an employee contribution?
I don't necessarily want to take it away, but I'd like to keep some form of it, but not what we have. I'm thinking more of a very minimal amount, maybe even something that we can match. If they put in, we put in up to, I don't know, $300 a year or something. Just kind of keep it going.
Mr. Doggett?
I'm torn on it because you could always, you know, if they really wanted to do it, they can increase the salary enough to cover the money that's being in the HSA.
That's what I was thinking
I
too.
mean, you can just pick it up in the stock. I mean, either way, you're paying it.
Exactly.
Either it's going in the HSA or you're paying it.
That's kind of what I was thinking. If the person, if they want to give them a bump that will cover it, they can do that. It's up to individual whether, whatever it is.
And you'll be getting a salary range presented to you in the near future that's going to stipulate positions and beginning range and an ending range. And usually what you do with those salary ranges is you look at the COLA each year. Usually you're taking like, you might take the December one if you're doing budgets in June. And you would take the December one and use that and up your range based on the cost of living increases. And that, you're not necessarily upping your employees' pay unless they're at the bottom of the range. And said they only got a 2% rate, they came in at the very bottom, they only got 2%, but the cost of living was, say, 8%. Then you might have to bump them up to keep up with it, but that's what a lot of places do, is they just, you increase the salary range over time based on cost of living increases.
So is there anything else on this page besides the HSA, and the gentleman mentioned vision and dental possibly? Is there anything else on here that people want to focus on?
I'm okay with the vision and dental and stuff staying. It's
Yeah,
not a
same.
deal breaker for me.
Mr. Manning, are you kind of okay with everything? Besides else, is there something you want to focus on?
No, that's fine.
Mr. Doggett?
So are you thinking 0 for family, is that what the consensus?
Well,
100% of employee and 0 for family?
I think that might be the way most folks, tell you what, I'm going to make a motion, that way we can kind of get it going.
Okay.
And, yeah, I'll make a motion so we can get this going, and then in the discussion, if people want to tweak it, we can, right? And I may need some help because I think we've talked about quite a bit. So, but just to sort of summarize it, I believe we started with I move that we approve the personnel policies and manual as presented with the alterations as discussed. Will that be sufficient? And then,
Yes.
along with the July 1st, 2024 list of benefits with the changes discussed as the HSA being a contribution no longer provided by the town.
And there's also the 0 proposed for the insurance coverage.
For the family.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I spoke too soon, I leaned over to our attorney when I said, yeah, that'd be okay, but, because I knew it would be extensive list.
So we're going to do the 0 as proposed per the memo dated October 12, 2012. I'm sorry, 0 as proposed for the dependent spousal insurance coverage.
Yeah.
Can we reread that, Mr. Bacon?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it one more time. Second time, but that doesn't work, they say third time's a charm, so we keep going. So I move to approve the Town of Summerfield personnel policies and manual as presented with the alterations discussed, or the modifications discussed, as well as the July 1st, 2024 benefits package list, modifying the health savings account contribution no longer provided by the town, and that the dependent and spousal insurance coverage is now $0 as proposed. I'm sorry, it was $300 as proposed, what we would add, now we're saying 0 as proposed, so we're not contributing anything towards that. That's what I understand the majority to do. And then, if there is a second on that, and then discuss and change it as they go. So that's my motion.
Have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second, further discussion.
Here, Mr. Clay, here's your chance to change that.
I like the motion. I think I agree with, I could agree with all that. I'm just wondering if a complete removal of the HSA is the best course of action for attraction of new employees. I'm still kind of leaning towards some type of nominal amount just to make sure that HSA, because you're unsure if we don't put anything in, how does that keep
Yeah, 'cause what if they don't elect any and we don't do any, and then, you know, that's.
I'm open, like I said, I made the motion just to get us moving so we can get there. I'm open to changing something if that is.
Make a friendly amendment to up it to $2,500 to cover the new veteran.
So what is that per month, we said?
2,500 a year?
Yeah.
2,500 a month?
No,
No, probably to it.
No, yeah, sorry.
208 a month?
Okay, so,
2,500 a year.
That's still steep.
That's generous, we're
That's-
covering their deductible.
yeah, that's good, yeah. I
And we're
think
paying for all the other stuff, the vision, the dental,
Yeah,
we're paying for
that's,
that.
Still like we still make things attractive. So I will, I accept that amendment to make the HSA contribution from the town $208 per month. Is that what you said?
Or two,
Yeah.
208.33, I think is.
208.33 per month.
I think that's very generous, but I'm okay with that if that's what
I'm okay with that.
the majority wants. I still think that's a lot.
What do you think, Lynn?
I don't know anybody else who gets that.
No.
No. I have to pay for everything, and I get paid nothing. It's public knowledge.
Well, I hate to say it, but I don't know of anybody that gets any of these benefits like government does, so that's kind of a given.
I agree with Mr. Doggett. I'm torn on it too. I mean, it's, we're trying to keep things attractive for folks coming in, and that is definitely an attraction. And at the same time, it's just like Lynn said, it's something that a lot of folks don't get anyway.
No.
Um,
And we pay for vision, we pay for dental. It's an a la carte thing. Yeah.
So Mr. Clay, Reverend, you seconded that motion. If there's anybody else,
I second the amendment.
second, okay.
And let me just clarify, when you were saying the 7/124 memo, you're saying the memo to be consistent with the personnel policy, correct? With the changes, because they're,
The 0 is proposed, because it was 300 towards.
well, because we changed like some of the holidays and different things, so just
Yeah.
making sure that they're consistent, okay.
So,
Any other discussion?
How much does that come up when you add the vision and the dental and the disability? We pay for all that. What does that total?
Well,
But
unfortunately, because the medical insurance is age-based.
No, she's saying just the
Just-
vision,
just the
dental,
adults.
and
Just
disability.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to do things in my head?
So 21,
Yeah.
so 50 times 12.
So you're talking, let's see, 7, 29, so you got
So $600.
36 there, 50, yep, you got 50,
So that's
Life
$250 per month.
life
So-
insurances.
Mayor Sessoms, can I ask you, I did a friendly amendment to allow Mr. Clay's change. Can I do
So
an amendment to take it off?
that
Because I think it was,
Well,
a-
yeah.
more.
Well,
I think you gotta vote now.
You're at two,
so we'll vote it down, then we'll do it again without it. Is that the best
you're
way?
at 208.
Yeah, I think so.
So we're giving them $258 a month
And
extra
then we're
into
giving
their
them
insurance.
258,
Yeah.
33 with all that.
Yeah, you got 50 there.
So 258 is what we're putting in a month extra.
Yeah, not including the.
On top of the medical
Yeah.
and the life.
We're gonna have to get that vote down, I think. So if Mayor Sessions would call the vote.
Any further discussion on that? All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed?
Who said aye?
Those opposed?
I'll say aye. I'll
Okay,
say
I
aye.
got 4 people did vote.
I voted, I raised my hand.
I did not. So I'm voting to turn it down and we're gonna rediscuss this. We're gonna try again, right?
Opposed?
No.
Voting down the amendment.
I took the-
Oh, that's just voting down the amendment.
Okay, I'm gonna call the question one more time. We're voting on the motion as amended.
With the 208, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
John, you are?
Yep.
Okay, then let's.
We're
Okay,
voting
wait.
on the motion as amended at the 208 with the vision, with the disability, and with the dental.
And dependent and spouse zero, I think you put it.
That's
right.
Yeah. That's what we're voting on. So all those in favor of that, please say aye. Those opposed?
The poor teacher.
And the motion carries by a vote of 4 to 1.
understand what you said.
I understood both of those things. I think there was ways around both of them.
Yeah, either way.
Thank you,
There was a
Mayor Sessions,
compromise
for your
and
patience with us.
I'm here retired from everything and work at the point.
Item C,
Yes, thank you for that. I think that went quickly.
Lynn, you need to resign and apply for town does.
So, I'm not presenting any budget amendments to you at this time because I'm gonna let the town manager meet with staff to determine what the future needs are. But, because I know there will be budget amendments, and in case I'm gone, I wanted to make sure that you had all the information and that you're aware of it before Twig gets here and it's all documented. So the attached list includes all the park-related repairs and maintenance that have been performed by our current Parks and Rec part-time employees. And some of the items that are needing to be addressed in the near future. So right now, we're within budget, but I know by year end, we will not be, but for the parks.
It's okay.
So that's why I brought everything, what they're saying they've done, what they are saying they need to do, and then once Twig gets here, he'll be able to tell you what else needs to get done based on his thoughts and his ideas. So you'll see, they've done a fantastic job.
Yes.
Rich has been amazing, and Scott has been so helpful once he came on as well.
I think this would be wonderful to show people that this has been done just, apparently since Slowbomb has been there, is that what
Yes,
you're saying?
yeah.
So is
So,
that okay to make the public, if I want to put this out, it's a public document, right?
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Well,
done
so-
amazing work
Because
since,
it's
on the
next
website.
agenda.
Yeah.
yeah, since June 13th. It's just amazing what he's accomplished.
That is great,
I'll tell you, you know, Parks and Rec, I couldn't have done it without him.
yeah.
So, and he's outlined all that for you, so I wanted to let you know, you will have budget amendments coming. It's just, I don't know when and how much at the current time.
That's amazing, thank you.
so item 12, business from the mayor and council, A, water project, Mr. Flood.
I can't get this computer.
Well, give us like an estimated time frame.
4.5 minutes?
Okay, I can do that. That's not bad, I was thinking about 30 minutes.
Yeah. You plugged it in my computer, did you want it?
Too dark?
I'm standing here.
Was that too much? I don't know, you guys tell me.
Do you want to take this seat?
I got this.
This was on you last time.
got 4.5 minutes.
Start
So what to start off, there were some questions from council, some discussions from other people on the water project that we have as is. And, the line size that we're doing currently as scope. I looked through all of our documentation that's online with everything that I could get my hands on, and I really don't see, not that it doesn't exist, but I can't find a true strategic water plan with another water authority from, Forsyth, Greensboro, Reedsville. Not that discussions may not have occurred, but I can't find a strategic plan that says, listen, you're undergoing a water tower plan of potentially using another water source. Again, not that it doesn't exist, but I can't find that. What I have been hearing from other water authority plants is that it needs to be self-supporting, meaning that the money that comes in is what pays for that. You can't necessarily just grab money from your own governmental account to help pay for your own water system. But we're not talking about necessarily drinking water, although what has been put in for the funds is that we need to have it, the ability of it to be drinking water, not that we're moving directly into a potable drinking water. We did have meetings with the fire department. The fire department has come and attended some of the Freeze and Nichols meetings, and they were very instrumental in providing us a fire hydrant location, and also a turnout area at the water tower. So they gave really good input on where those hydrants should be in that tower. Also, they gave some suggestions around it being large enough to expand throughout the community. Something that I think was communicated last year, and I will say it myself, and I would only assume that the other council will agree with me, is that the expectations right now is for fire suppression. We do not have the funds to move beyond the fire suppression. Not to say that there won't be a need for that in the future, and the funds may come, but right now, it is only for fire suppression only, and there is no intent whatsoever to impact current existing wells. I would feel absolutely horrible if any endeavor that we take impacts anyone's wells. And I don't think that that's the intent at all. So the future plan is a bit unknown. We don't have a water authority that we have a partnership with at this time, but we do have the funds to start the process. And that's something that I think Janelle and I had talked with another congressperson earlier this year, is that when you have the funds available, do it now, get that started, because it's only going to get more expensive. So we are planning for the future. And when you plan for the future, you plan now. So the question on the table is, do we continue with the 8-inch lines? Or do we go a 12-inch line? Freeze and Nichols said that an 8-inch line is doable. Don't go below that. But it would require some strategic planning and potential future cost if you kept it at 8-inch. Not that you can't do it. They did provide us with an estimate if the town, so be it, did want to say, listen, if you want to go to 12-inch line, it's going to be a $45K design cost.